G'day, it's Pete here and I'm back for another featured lesson, and today we're going to look at one of my favourite conventions. We're going to look at Splinter Bids. Now, Splinter Bids are a way of supporting your partner, agreeing a fit, but also highlighting where you actually have a shortage, a singleton or a void. Now, first of all, why do you actually need to do this? I want to highlight the importance of identifying where you actually have a shortage so that you can locate, do you have fitting cards or not. So we'll just jump right in and just look at some examples. So let's imagine that we've got this hand here. We've got 10, 14 high card points and a singleton club. Now we just open one spade, and whatever your method is, let's say that partner showed that they have enough points for game and a fit in spades. So what would you want to do with that sort of information? Okay, now this hand's okay. I've got some interest here. I've got 10, 14 high card points, singleton, so you might count this as 17 points, and if partner's got, say, around 13, we're getting up around the slam territory, but we need them to have a little bit more. So let's just have a look at a couple of different example hands partner could have. So I'll just open up the cards, and here we can see that here partner's got 15 points, so they've got a bit extra. They've got 15 high card points, but we can't make slam on this hand. We've got no spade losers, we've got no heart losers, no clubs, but I've got two diamonds that are going to lose, and I'll have to do something with the other two. So no slam can be made on this hand, and partner's hand's worth 15 points here. If we look at another example hand, here now partner has 12 high card points and a shortage. They've got a singleton heart, and if we look at this hand, we still can't make slam. So they've got 12 high card points and a singleton, so the hand's still worth 15 points if you count 3 points for the singleton, and we've still got two diamond losers opposite that, and occasionally you might not even make that. If you swapped the opponent's hands over, they might be able to even hold you to 10 tricks on some hands. But this hand, so 10 or 11 tricks depending on how the opposing cards divide. Whereas if we look at another one here, this time partner's got 10 high card points and a singleton diamond. Now if we look at these cards, we have no spade losers, we have no heart losers, we have no club losers, we have one diamond loser, and I have to do something with the other three. I could throw one on the hearts and just try and trump two spades. So on this hand, partner's only got 10 high card points and a singleton, so the hand's only worth 13 points. But this 13 point hand allows us to make slam, whereas the other ones, which were worth 15 points, weren't good enough to make slam. Now this highlights why it's necessary not just to use point counts as a method of evaluating whether or not you should be actually going on to slam or not. So let's take a moment and look back at why or why not those previous hands worked or didn't work. So here's the first hand again, and partner's got a balanced hand with 15 points. Now this one partner wouldn't have made a splinter bid, they wouldn't have highlighted a shortage for us, but we have a shortage. So what makes a hand good opposite a shortage? Okay, there are a couple of holdings that are perfect for it. So if your partner's either got the ace or has nothing in the suit, they have no wasted points. Because if partner's got the ace of that suit, that ace is pulling its weight, and then you'll be able to rough all the other losers. But notice here that the partner's also got the king of clubs. Now they're counting 3 points for this, and it is going to take a trick, but it doesn't actually help us reduce our losers. We only had one club here, and that was fine, and then the king of clubs isn't helping us reduce our losers because we've only got one club. What it is useful for is being able to throw away something in another suit, but we don't actually need this on this hand. So ace king is not as good as just having the ace. If my partner moved this king of clubs and put it in with the diamonds instead, so let's say they swapped the 5 of diamonds with the king of clubs, so they had ace 5 4 of clubs and king queen doubleton diamond. Now we would be making slam because we'd only have one diamond loser, and we'd be able to rough the other two, or at least rough one and pitch one on the hearts. So basically, this king of clubs is not pulling its weight as if it was in one of the other suits. It doesn't mean that it's useless, it just means it's not as good as it could have been. So if your partner can show you where a shortage is, and you have either no high card points in the suit, or just the ace in the suit, that is perfect. If you have holdings like ace-king, that's marginal. It might be useful, it might not. And some holdings which are just really, really bad for it are when you have like queens, jacks, they're completely useless almost. If your partner had king-jack in the suit, they're not good holdings. So they're holdings that you don't want to see, because imagine if my partner had king-jack third club here. Then it would be absolutely useless. Those 4 points would be completely wasted. They don't help me reduce my losers, and unless I guess well, they're not going to help me throw anything away. And only if I can guess well can I then do something with it, and if my hand fits where I need to throw a loser away in another suit. So holdings like the king-jack, king-queen, queen-jack, they're just terrible opposite a shortage. So here we can see that this king of clubs, while could be useful some of the times, is better off in a different suit. But holdings like ace fourth, four little, they are perfect because you've got length in the suit, your partner will be able to rough all your losers in that suit, you don't have wasted points, so your points are elsewhere and they're going to be pulling their full weight. Let's look at this next hand, and here North has a short heart and South has a short club. So here this is where you possibly could only make 10 tricks, even though this North hand was worth 15. With the lay of the opposing cards, you can actually make 11, but yeah. So let's look at this holdings. Here, South has ace, king, third heart opposite a singleton. So here, this king of hearts is wasted. It could only be used to throw away a loser in a different suit, but that's not going to be relevant on this hand. In the opposing hand, you've got a singleton club opposite ace, queen, fourth. So ace fourth is good, but this queen of clubs is wasted. If you move that queen of clubs out of clubs and into a different suit, again it would be much better. Notice if you move this queen of clubs and made it just the king of diamonds, so you're improving the hand a little bit, but not too much. Then this hand would, instead of being marginal for only making 10 tricks, would be back up to making 12 tricks with only losing one diamond. It's all about where those points are and do they fit well with the shortages. So this is why this hand, this wasted queen of clubs, this wasted king of hearts, you've got 5 points that aren't pulling their weight here because opposite the shortages they're not doing what they need to actually do. Because if we look at this last one where we could actually make 12 tricks here, let's look what happens here. Here, this North hand only has 10 high card points and a singleton, so it's worth 13. But look, singleton diamond opposite 4 little. This is a perfect scenario. We've got one diamond loser and then we can just trump the rest of them and make use of them. Look at the clubs. We've got ace fourth club opposite a singleton. Another perfect scenario here. No wasted points. All the points are pulling their weight. So this is the times where Splinter Bids which can be used to identify these shortages. If you understand what will make a hand good opposite it, you can find either underpointed games or underpointed slams by them being able to highlight where these actual shortages are. So hopefully I've made it clear why we want to be able to identify shortages, and then also how you can evaluate hands. Do you have these wasted points? So basically what you want to do is, if your partner ever does highlight a shortage to you, look for, do I have wasted points, or do I have one of these good holdings with no wasted points in them? Secondly, if you're borderline moving on in those sorts of situations, if you have a perfect situation, make a more aggressive move. Whereas if you're borderline and you have any wastage in the suit, pull back a little bit. You want to just hold back and not actually make a move in those sorts of situations. So they're just a couple of examples of how to evaluate opposite a shortage. So next, what is a splinter and how does it work? Okay, so I'll talk about basic splinters, 2-tier splinters or 3-tier splinters, and finally something a little bit complicated that I like to do for those people that just want to do something a little bit extra. Anyway, so how splinters work. So they're a way of supporting partner. So let's say we open one spade and you've got this hand here. What most people do have is double jump shifts. So you've got bids at the 2 levels, so 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, and 2 clubs. These are not jumps. They're just bidding the suits at the lowest level. These are natural bids. If you jump a level to like 3 clubs, 3 diamonds, or 3 hearts, these are single jump shifts. Now, people have these bids for different conventional meanings. It varies a lot between partnerships. But if you get to a double jump shift, so let's say you jump to 4 diamonds, nearly universally people use these as splinters if they are aware of this convention. They're really powerful, and what it actually means is, partner, I have a fit for you. Most people use the rule that you need 4 card trump support. Some people are lenient on that, others aren't. I like there to be 4 card trump support, except in desperate situations where your other bids aren't great. But typically show 4 card support. Also, you bid the suit where you have a shortage. So here, jumping to 4 diamonds says I have a short diamond. Okay. Now the point range for this is about 10 to 14 high card points and a singleton. So when you think about it this way, jumping to 4 diamonds would be about 13 to 15, 16, 17 points, maybe at a stretch. It depends on all your methods. But at least 13 points, your 10 high card points, and your singleton drags you up to 13. Opposite your partner's opening bid, you have enough points for game. So this is why you force to the level you're actually happy playing at. So 4 diamonds here would say that you have enough points for game, and you have a fit in spades, and you're highlighting your shortage. So you're effectively happy to play in 4 spades, even if there's sort of some misfitting cards. But you open it up so that if partner's got that little bit extra and the perfect sort of fitting cards, they can now make tries towards slam, and you might be able to identify these tight slams that you can find because of these shortages. So what a splinter is if your partner opens one of a major and you jump to the 4 level or a double jump shift. So another example might be, say, 1 heart past 3 spades would be a splinter. 1 spade past 4 clubs, 1 spade past 4 diamonds. Some people do this as natural, some people do this as a splinter. I really like splinters, so I would have this as a splinter. But in new partnerships, you would want to discuss what this bid actually is. So anyway, basic splinters. These are what they are. Jumps to the 4 level double jump shift. Say I've got enough points for game and I'm just highlighting my shortage. I've got 4 card trump support for you. I've got a singleton or void and enough points to play in game opposite your opening bid. And what they can be used for is to find those tight slams where your cards just fit perfectly and you can get them. So they're the basic splinters. There are also 2-tier splinters where some people 2 or 3 tier splinters. So you've got 3 tiers, but you're using 2 levels of it. So there are single jump shifts and double jump shifts. So what I like is having any jump shift. So say jumping to 3 diamonds as a splinter and 4 diamonds as a splinter to show different point ranges. So here, if you jump to 3 diamonds, what I would use this for is something called mini, maxi, mega splinters. So if you jump to the 3 level, it could be a mini splinter, so showing an invitational hand. So sort of 7 to 9 points with 4 card support and a singleton. So basically you've got 7 to 9 high card points, which means you've got 10 to 12 total points. So you're inviting game, and you're trying to identify where your shortage is to see if the cards fit well with your partner so that you can find tight games. And this is only a single jump shift, and what you can think about is you're forcing to the 3 level. So you've got enough to invite partner by forcing them to the 3 level. So that would be mini. If you go up in a range and bid 4 diamonds like previously, that is a maxi splinter. You've got enough to force to the game level. So that would be your 10 to sort of 13 high card points plus your singleton. So you've got 13 to sort of 16 total points and your singleton. So 13 to 16 total points. And that would be by a double jump shift. And you can think about this by you're forcing your partner to the 4 level. And then finally, the third tier is bidding the same as the mini. And even if partner signs off, you've got another bid. And this would be the Mega Splinter, which would show a really strong hand. So you've got a good 13 or more high card points plus your singleton, and you're really interested in slam if your partner had fitting cards. And so you could use this mini maxi mega structure using single and double jump shifts to be able to get all your shortages out. And if you can evaluate your hands properly, you can find some really tight games and really tight slams, and you can have a much broader structure for finding where all those shortages and seeing if they fit really well with your hand. The one downside with this method is it occupies a lot of bidding spaces. It'll take up pretty much the vast majority of your raises. You'd still have some other ones, but you don't have as much detail in all the other ones because you'd be using any single or double jump shifts to show splinters. So whether you jump 1 level or 2 levels, you're showing shortages, and that occupies a lot of space. It's a really valuable tool when you can do it, but being able to use all those bids just for splinters might be over cumbersome. So some people don't like using it for that purpose, but they are quite powerful when they come up. But they do occupy a lot of the bidding space if you're going to use that structure. So you have to weigh up with your partner. Do you want to use just the basic tier where just the double jump shifts to the game level show that you got enough points for game and that shortages? Do you want to use the 2/3 tier system of the mini, maxi, mega structure where it uses all jump shifts as your shortages, and you can show all the different point ranges, not just the ones that are happy to force to game? Or there's this third option. I don't recommend this for new partnerships, but if you're a system junkie and you really love it, what you can do in some structures is unspecified splinters. So let's say it goes 1 heart. What I do with my regular partner is I have jumping to 2 spades says, partner, I have a mini or a mega splinter in any suit. So I could have a short spade, club, or diamond, because we're supporting hearts in this instance. And then what you can do is you've got asking bids to say, partner, where is your shortage, and things like that. So there are ways to do that. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that right now because if I get requests, I'll talk about it, but basically it's pretty complicated, and only if you're really wanting to put a lot of effort into doing it. But you can untangle it so that you do have all those splinters and they're not super cumbersome on your entire bidding structure, but only if you think that's important for you. Lots of people are happy with other different raises. But anyway, there are few different ways that splinters work. You have your basic splinters, which just are jumping to the game level. You have your mini, maxi, mega structure, or that final one, which is called step raises, which have a lot more detail into it for all your other raises as well. Kind of complicated, but you can compress those and still get them in there. Okay, so let's look at some more hands. So let's say that we've got this hand here with 7 points. So I'll just put the cards away again. So here, if it goes pass, word pass, and let's say that our partner opens 1 heart. So at this stage, if you were just using basic splinters, you would just have to make a raise that would show. I would probably show this as a 6 to 9 raise. You do have 10 high card points. It's not a fantastic one, but it could be good. So this is right in the borderline, and this highlights one of the issues with just having the normal raise structure, such as Bergen or things like that, which force you to choose: do you treat this as 6 to 9 or 10 to 12? And I would say this is pretty borderline for either of them, and you just have to make a choice. If you had that 3-tier system of splinters where you had the mini, maxi, mega structure, what you could do on this hand is jump to 3 diamonds to say, partner, I have a singleton diamond, I've got 4 card support for you, and I've got an invitational hand. So I've got 7 to 9 high card points, and I have a singleton diamond. So you always bid where you actually have your shortage. Now the purpose of this is, if we looked at our partner's hand, so we'll jump over to the other side. Here they've got 13 high card points and a singleton. So their hand's worth 16 points, but what you can really see is that singleton diamond is perfect. If we go back to looking at how we actually evaluate opposite shortages, ace fourth is a perfect holding because we don't actually have wasted points. So here we would happily accept the invite and jump to 4 hearts. Whereas if our diamond holding was something like king, queen, 4th diamond, that would be a bad holding and we could sign off in just 3 hearts, rather than just having to judge with our partner saying they've got either 6 to 9 or 10 to 12 points and work out which one we actually want to do. Now if we look at both the hands, what we can see here is this is a really favourable layout. We've got 7 opposite 13, which is 20 high card points, but we've got both those shortages. And here, looking at our partner's hand, they've got ace 4th diamond, and they will lose no diamonds because they can ruffle them. We've got no club loser. We've got 9 hearts, missing the king and queen, but they fall together, so we've only got 1 heart loser. And we're missing the king of spades. But that's onside, so we'll have no spade losers. So on this hand, you can actually make 12 tricks. You wouldn't want to be there, it wouldn't be a good slam, but this just really highlights the power of shortages. Ace 4th opposite singletons, really powerful because you can cover all your partner's losers in that suit with no loss of ineffective high card points. So here, being able to highlight the shortages are really good. Whereas if this hand chose to show 6 to 9 points with 4 card support, this north hand might just sign off and make 12 tricks in just a part score. Okay. Splinters can also be used in other situations. They can also be used by opener. So let's say that goes 1 heart, 1 spade. Okay. So again, depending on your structure, some people use strong jump shifts where 3 clubs would be natural and forcing. This is the most common approach. But if you jump to 4 clubs, this wouldn't be natural and forcing. It should be a splinter. It should say, I've got enough points to play in game opposite your hand, and I want to highlight that I've got a singleton here and a fit for you. So you'd have 4 card support for your partner, you'd have a singleton in the suit that you're jumping to, and you're happy to force to the level that you've got to. So here we've got 15 high card points and a singleton, so 18 points opposite your partner's 6, you're right around game, you're happy to play in 4 spades. So here you highlight to your partner that you've got your short club, and does that work for your partner? Now if we open up the hand and show all the cards, what we can see here is no, it doesn't work for your partner at all. They've got king 5th club, so that is just a wasted king, so their hand is almost worth just 2 points. They've got a singleton heart, which is a shortage in your main suit, which means that your heart cards are kind of wasted. On this hand we can still make 10 tricks, but we know that we don't want to go further. So here we can see that there's lots of wasted points here, but it does. The main point on this hand is that opener can still use splinters. If you play new suit as forcing, then you've got the same mini, maxi, mega structure that you have where you can jump to 3 clubs, but if you play that as a strong jump shift, then this is just natural. So you want to discuss with your partnership. If you're just doing new suit forcing, you can have splinters as opener here, and you can have invitational, game forcing, or slam trying splinters, just like previously. And you just think, what level was I forcing to? So here it would be 3 spades, which would say, partner, I was at least inviting you with my 3 club bid, but illustrating where my shortage is. But most people play that with a 3 club bid as natural and game forcing. But you do not need 4 clubs to actually be that. So 4 clubs, even if you play strong jump shifts, this will be a splinter. So always those double jump shifts should be splinters, highlighting the shortages so that partner can evaluate their hand and see what they want to do opposite that. So here, if we've got this hand, let's just look at what we want to think. Say like we open one spade, and if partner jumps to 4 clubs, what do we think about this? So just using this as an exercise in evaluating your hand. We've got 14 high card points, so we've got a little bit extra, not a great deal. And our partner's got a short club, so we have no wasted points in clubs, but what we do have is shortage opposite shortage. So in that instance, this hand isn't as good. What you want is you want length opposite their shortage, so 4 little cards is better than 2 little cards, because all we'll have to do is partner's counting 3 points just to ruff one of our losers. So that's a lot tougher work. So this isn't a bad holding opposite their splinter. If we had a singleton opposite their singleton, that is a terrible holding because we're both overvaluing it. But doubleton, we're getting a little bit of use out of it. If we've got 3 cards, we've got more use. 4 cards, that's probably perfect. So here, 4 clubs, I wouldn't be interested in slam opposite this because a small doubleton, while not bad, isn't good either. If instead partner jumped to 4 diamonds, this would be a terrible holding for us. King, Queen, third is completely wasted points. Partner's got a singleton. We still have a diamond loser. I then just have to hope that my King, Queen, and diamonds are good for throwing their losers elsewhere, but that might not even be the case. So this would be a terrible holding, so I would be signing off in 4 spades and hoping that we make it. Whereas if partner jumped to 4 hearts, now we're sort of in the ballpark of do we look for slam or not, because I've got a very pure hand. I've got no wasted points in hearts. I've got a little bit extra than what my minimum point count is, and I think this one is pretty borderline. It's not clear cut whether you should move or not, but this hand is a lot better opposite that shortage. So if my partner bid 4 hearts, I'd be the most inclined to investigate a little bit more. So what we could do is think, what do we actually need from my partner to make slam? So if my partner had the ace of spades, ace of clubs, ace of diamonds, right? So that would be 12 points with 3 aces. That is a perfect sort of maximum hand for them. Not really maximum, but it's pretty close with their 3 aces. And then we'll just have 1 club loser in that instance. If we turned it to ace of spades, king of clubs, ace of diamonds, we would still be a 50-50 chance to make slam, but not as good. Ace of spades, ace king of clubs, and the jack of diamonds. Again, we're still around the 12 high card point marker when partners could have just 10 points. So usually if I think that I'm going to investigate slam, I like to think, what would be a perfect minimum hand? So if I could come up with a 10-point hand that can make slam, then I would be making moves onwards. Here, I don't think I can come up with a 10-point hand that can guarantee slam, other than like ace of spades, king, queen of clubs. No, just you can't do it. So when thinking should I move on, yes, this hand is quite good. If I had some space that could still stop in 4 spades, I might show partner that I was interested. But here, when choosing whether to go on or not, I try and think, can I come up with a perfect minimum hand? So I've got 10 plus high card points, 10 to 14, with a singleton heart. If I could come up with a 10 count that would make slam, I would be making moves. But here I can't, so I'll just sign off in 4 spades. As you can see, we can open up the cards. And here, partner's got a perfect 12 count, ace of spades, ace king of clubs, and the jack of diamonds, so quite a good hand. Well in the range, and we are making slam on this hand. But you can see that when they splinter, you're getting closer to actually being able to bid these sorts of hands if you think about them in the correct way. Anyway, that's all I was going to cover today about splinters. So we talked about why shortages are useful, how we actually evaluate our points opposite them, what are good holdings which aren't, how splinters work, and a few different ways that you can do it, and discussing that with your partner. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.